start off with our quinoa. Inside our fresh market bags over there, we have a package of quinoa.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and rinse that off first. The quinoa garlic salad begins by washing the quinoa for about 2 minutes in clear running water to wash off some of that bitter outer coating of that ancient South American sea. Then after sauteing for about 30 seconds, add some stock and boil until the stock is absorbed, about 12 to 15 minutes. When the quinoa is done, drizzle with some olive oil, pop it in the refrigerator to cool. Meanwhile, we'll cut the red and green peppers into strips, half the cherry tomatoes, and when the quinoa is cool, mix everything together, including our fresh greens, balsamic vinegar, olive oil, salt and pepper, and it's ready to go. We start the soup by peeling the gorgeous Cinderella pumpkin and scraping the seeds out. We're going to roast the seeds and use them for garnish in the soup. Then cut the pumpkin into chunks. Place on a baking sheet with a little water and roast until tender. Then just put them in the blender with some stock and blend until smooth. Now for the magic, making the caramel and slowly adding in the heavy cream. When that's done, add to the pumpkin, blend it all up, season with salt and pepper, and ladle into the bowl. Garnish, and there you have it, the first course. Bodie made sure the butcher at Solomon's Fresh Market gave her the very best beef tenderloin for our main course. Just season each piece with Cajun seasoning and salt while it's on the plate. We use Cajun seasoning instead of pepper because it gives the food that extra kick. Next, heat up a large skillet. Make sure it's nice and hot, and then add the olive oil. Once the oil is hot, add each piece of tenderloin, garlic cloves, and fresh rosemary sprigs. This will extract the flavors of the seasoning. Halfway through the cooking process, add the butter pieces. Cook the meat on both sides until desired doneness. Once the tenderloin is cooked to perfection, remove it from the pan and whisk some flour with the juices that remains in the pan to create that sauce you pour over your tenderloin while you serve it. And that's it, the first half of our main course. Now for the broiled lobster tails. Just cut the lobster tails down the middle so that the meat is exposed, and then carefully insert your middle fingers between the shell and the meat to separate the lobster from the shell. Season the lobster meat with Cajun seasoning, salt, and lemon juice. Put it back into the shell, drizzle with olive oil, and roast for 10 minutes. Basting the meat with the juices halfway through the cooking. And it's ready to finish up the main course. The potato mash is a wonderful blend of Yukon gold potatoes and sweet potatoes. Just peel, cut them, boil until tender, and gently mash them with a spoon or potato masher. Slowly add heavy cream for a really luxurious taste. Add butter and season to taste, and this rich golden dish is ready to serve. And what brunch is complete without a simply decadent dessert? In this case, it's our strawberry champagne ombre cake. Just take your favorite pound cake and slowly pour a mixture of champagne and simple syrup over it until it's all soaked in. Then frost and refrigerate for 20 minutes. Mix some red icing and using a small knife, put it in the small areas of the cake, sides and top, making a polka dot effect. Then take a large knife or spatula and glide it along the sides and top of the cake until the red icing dots have smoothed into the cake, making an ombre effect. Decorate with strawberries and other berries and keep it refrigerated until you're ready to present.
After a great day with Chef Dominique preparing some fabulous food, I'm ready to indulge my guests with bubbles and brunch on the terrace of the luxurious Ocean West Boutique Hotel.
No better way to end your day than with fabulous food and fabulous friends. I'm Bodine, and this is Fabulous Living Bahamian Style. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Until next time, ladies. All right.
I'm living the fabulous life ahead. Moment
watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the Prime Minister predicting a boom and rebound in the cruise industry. Also, a husband and wife team selected the top employer of the year. And labor leaders focusing on issues in the workplace. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Wolf-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, the budget debate officially opened this morning in the House of Assembly by the nation's Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. He presented his administration's plan to build back better in the midst of the economic challenges from Hurricane Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic. Our Megan Shepard has our top story.
Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, leading the debate on the 2021-2022 fiscal budget. The nation's leader noting that Grand Bahama has already seen phase one of the rebuilt Rands Memorial Hospital, noting that approximately $11.6 million was awarded to several local companies for construction work that culminated in the recommissioning of the Rand. He adds that there will be a rebound and boom in the cruise industry as persons are taking the vaccine and feeling more comfortable about travel.
Phase 2 for the RAN is in train. Grand Bahama, Mr. Speaker, is going to get one of the best international airports in this region, following the government's purchase of the Freeport International Airport. Grand Bahama will see an extraordinary revival of cruising to the island, resulting in much more economic opportunity and jobs.
Prime Minister Minnis also noting that last year, this administration introduced legislation that permitted the Minister of Finance to provide VAT holidays up to 2 times per year for up to 30 days for specific reasons.
He then introduced the back-to-school VAT holiday last August. And this provided Bahamian households with VAT-free shopping on a range of school supplies as they got their children ready for the new academic year. The VAT holiday, Mr. Speaker, provided millions of dollars in savings across the country and were boosted by Bahamian businesses. And this year, we are once again undertaking a back-to-school VAT holiday during the month of August.
Noting that we are now officially in the hurricane season, he encouraged residents to begin their preparations immediately.
To assist with these preparations, this year, for the first time, we will undertake a VAT holiday for hurricane preparations. And this will be during the month of July. This will assist Bahamians and residents to enjoy VAT-free shopping on a range of critical hurricane supplies and equipment.
However, he emphasized that this will only be applicable on in-country purchases only.
I remind the House and Bahamian residents that the VAT holidays are only applicable for eligible items purchased inside the country from local wholesalers and retailers. We want people to shop at home so that this money stays at home and benefits Bahamian businesses and, by extension, all of the employees of these commercial enterprises.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
In this year's budget, the government is seeking to revive the country's economy, which was hit hard by Hurricane Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic. The minister responsible for agriculture and marine resources giving a preview of his presentation says Grand Bahamians will see a number of incentives geared at growing the economy. Natalia Hall reports.
The budget title, Accelerate Bahamas Recovery Plan, focuses on creating greater ownership for Bahamians in sectors like tourism, agriculture, fisheries, the digital economy, and the creative economy. Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Michael Pintard, sharing more details as to what Bahamians can expect in this upcoming fiscal year within the Agriculture Ministry.
You're going to see the launch of the Agro Village, which is our signature project, a cluster of smart farms. Cabinet has approved 2 projects, one in New Providence, one in Grand Bahama. The New Providence project kicks off in the month of June, so we'll have land clearing on the Gladstone Road site. We've had some new partners come on board who have funding to set up their operation, and then we'll follow during the summer by breaking ground here in Grand Bahama.
He says several processing facilities will be purchased.
We expect on at least 5 islands you will see us establishing food processing facilities which will enable us to create value-added goods, whether it's tomato paste, jams, jellies, juices, etc. And so we wanted to jumpstart that project by partnering with persons who are in the private sector. So that's the second thing will come out of this budget. Third will be heavy equipment. It's very difficult to get involved in mechanized agriculture if you don't have the required equipment. And so we're happy that those projects that were approved in this budget will be funded also in the next budget in that regard. So we're confident that you're going to see movement.
Now, there have been reports on advancing sailing as a national sport. Well, the minister responsible for regattas and sailing is giving this update.
I want to preempt the Prime Minister in making the announcement, but let me just say that there will be some very significant announcements during the course of the summer as it relates to sailing, and we are very excited that we've made progress in that regard, and we're looking forward to getting back on the water. We're encouraging persons to get vaccinated, all crew members of boats, those persons who organize the onshore activity in preparation for the renewed regatta season. So I think vaccination is a key part of us returning to normalcy. I've gotten my 2 shots. I haven't grown a third eye or anything. I'm in good shape, true God. And so we're just encouraging folks to, get vaccinated. Let's get back on the waters and return to normalcy.
It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Talia. And as parliamentarians continue debate on the 2021-2022 fiscal budget, tonight top real estate agents are weighing in on changes that are expected to spur major economic activity on the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama. Megan Shepard has more.
The new budget includes several concessions, including the elimination of VAT on conveyances for properties under $250,000 for Bahamians in the communities of Abaco and Grand Bahama for a period of 2 years. President of Keys Realty and real estate agent Kiara Jones calling this decision monumental, as she believes it will greatly help both islands.
A lot of people didn't realize just how hard it is for the normal Bahamian or anyone to qualify to finance when you still, even though you had the program that was already set for first-time Bahamian purchasers, you still had to show that you had the money in case you did not get the exemption. So the fact that it's been removed completely from the conveyance, well, the purchase overall, I think it'll do wonders for the economy. I think you will see a huge shift in the Grand Bahama real estate market, as well as more people investing in Abaco and even just Bahamians investing more.
The budget also seeks to amend the law to clarify that all vacation home marketplaces, such as Airbnb and VRBO, are required to pay VAT on rentals and commissions. The communication notes that the government estimates a $31 million increase in revenue. However, Jones says she believes that this tax should be implemented moderately.
A lot of persons, that is their sole income right now, and it will be a lot of persons' sole income going forward. I think it may be more beneficial if you were to say, you know what, this is actually required and we need this, maybe to handle it just like all of the other business licenses are handled, where if you're making a certain amount, then yes, you have that volume, you can afford to pay the VAT on it.
Licensed real estate agent at Caldwell Banker James Charles Realty, Dwayne King, says he is also not fully supportive of the VAT tax on vacation home rentals. He says many persons have been concerned about how that sector will affect the tourism product, but he believes this option is a plus, even for domestic tourism.
For me to even go to Nassau, the hotels are very expensive. So Bahamians are using Airbnb when they come from Nassau to Grand Bahama, or from Grand Bahama to go there. We need to encourage it. I don't think the government should have so quickly come in to impose taxes on it, because they got to shut it down. Whereas we need to encourage Bahamians to make their own money, to empower them to become wealthy, and actually to have ease of business, of doing business for Bahamians in the Bahamas. That's number one.
Now, despite the noise in the market that some residents feel that the island is rebounding slowly, Joan says that there are actually a lot of developments in the pipeline. She's encouraging Bahamians to take advantage of the tax concessions and invest in property.
Some Bahamians who definitely took that risk, some of my clients who I've handled transactions for them last year have already made the monies back and paid for that transaction. So now everything going forward is profiting for them. So Grand Bahama real estate market, I encourage people, get in while you can.
King is also echoing these sentiments. He says education is key as residents seek to invest.
A lot of new homes are being built, land is being cleared down. Do not sleep. Wake up, wake up. Find a way. Loan officers, work with people, help them. Somebody can't qualify for $200,000, tell them, listen, you qualify for $120,000. You might get a condo now and start off, and then later on put down on the rent and get a home.
Megan Shepard, CNS Network News.
This Friday is a national holiday, the Sir Randall Fox Labor Day to be exact. Holidays set aside to celebrate the achievements in the labor movement. The traditional Labor Day March will be scaled down this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Tonight, labor leaders are discussing some of the issues still impacting the workforce as Labor Day approaches. Jamila Mizik has this report.
The Sir Randall Fox Labor Day was established in 1961, and it is a time when unionists in the Bahamas come together as a united front to celebrate workers across the country and highlight important issues in the workforce. Here in Grand Bahama, labor unions meeting ahead of the big day to express the importance of the annual observance. Area Vice President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Quintin Larota, noting one of the issues he hopes to soon see addressed.
One thing I'm particularly concerned about as someone who has practiced at the Industrial Tribunal is the inability of the tribunal to enforce its own rulings, that you still have to go to the Supreme Court afterwards. I think that needs to be amended or changed in some way because you have to hold people accountable if they violate the rights of the worker or they don't obey the Employment Act or the industrial agreements that they have. And so I'm looking forward to that change in particular.
Larota says there has to be an understanding between employers and their employees to reasonably settle their issues.
I find that a lot of the employers, especially the ones that don't have unions, are not cognizant of their obligation under the law. And they mistreat workers, not realizing that they're violating their rights. A lot of the workers accept the mistreatment because they don't know what their rights are by law. And so I think the next step in the labor movement is to educate the average worker and the average employer. Because I'm amazed sometimes that I go to conciliations and the violations are so egregious, but the employer has no clue that he's been violating the law. And so I think even the Labor Department could assist in this regard.
Kirkland Russell, Vice President of the Bahamas Hotel Managerial Association and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, highlighting unemployment issues regarding work permits being issued to foreigners while Bahamians remain unemployed, especially during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. He says there is also what he calls a casual workers phenomenon, and they believe it is destroying the workforce.
We believe that this type of work has no place in this country. We believe it is the rankest form of slave work that you could find, that comes from the ILO. We believe that it puts the worker in a baseless position and it puts the country at a disadvantage economically. We say to the companies that are practicing this particular form of work, to cease and desist.
And president of newly formed union, Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union, Sandra Major, says the leaders of the various unions must practice unity among them.
Before we can fight for other people, we need to fight for ourselves and be united. Because I'm new in this, I do not wish to get into all of the rest of it. I want the leadership to be together. So when the leadership is, and they know that, your people know that you're fighting together for one cause and you're united, then we bring the people in because they understand that we are united. We are in this fight together. We're not fighting against them, because if we kill our leadership, sometimes destroy their own people, because they're fighting for the top, but they're forgetting me in the middle. So that is also why this union was formed, because we felt we have a voice, and our voices needed to be heard for ourselves.
Now a motorcade followed by a rally will be held this Labor Day, where labor leaders will address the various concerns of their unions. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Still on labor, it is a practice started by the labor movement on Grand Bahama back in 2019, and labor leaders say it was intended to bring a sense of balance. Well, they say while they often criticize those employers whom they felt were taking advantage of workers, they also wanted to highlight those good employers making a difference in the country. This year's Employer of the Year is a husband and wife team considered outstanding corporate citizens. Italia Hall has more.
The Express Food Mart chain was launched in Grand Bahama in 2008. The food store, which employs some 80 persons, first started off with one location on Baleo Road and expanded to a chain of 5 stores at 5 locations. Chief Operating Officer Shauna Taylor says she and her husband, president of the company Peter Taylor, believes in the economy of Grand Bahama.
Mr. Taylor is originally a Long Islander. He came to the island of Grand Bahama from he was 15, 16. He started off as a packing boy, and he moved his way up into the ranks at Winn-Dixie. Everyone is so familiar with Winn-Dixie, and he always says that that's where he got his training from. Everything he knows is from Winn-Dixie, is of Winn-Dixie. And when you see a person like that who's done something like this all their life, you just can't go wrong.
While they have developed a successful and popular chain of stores, Taylor says they have had some challenges over the years.
Major challenge was when we had a fire here at this, first sub, and we overcome that. Our customers follows us wherever we go. We could not do it without our customers, and we know that we are number one in the industry because of our customers.
Shauna and her husband Peter are the recipients of the Alexander Thompson Employee of the Year Award given by the Coalition of Labor in recognition of good labor relations. Taylor says it came as no surprise.
We have put service above self. Mr. Taylor, my husband, who is the president of this company, has always, first and foremost, put his customers first. We dwell on customers. Our employees are always first, right behind the customers. There's a saying that the customer's always right. Yes, we always insist that our customers are the number one in the company. We can never do it without our customers.
Taylor sharing this word of advice for other business owners.
Mr. Taylor, at first he took a risk. He never knew that today we would have 5 businesses on one island. So it's a risk-taking, and not only that, if you are true to your customers, you're true to your product will be true to you, your customers will be true to you. I feel as though it is my opinion that a business as such is just like a marriage. You put into it everything that you have, you put into a business like this, so you can never go wrong. Whenever you feel like quitting, there's always tomorrow.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more right after this break.
Come on down. Come on down. Now.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center.
Step into our brand new fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
Did you know that you can get the benefits of timeshare without the burdens of owning one? Finally, you can stay at over 4,000 top timeshare resorts across the globe for as little as $2.99 per week. Seabreeze Vacation Villas and Country Club, located at number 2 Port of Call Drive right here in Freeport, is pleased to introduce benefits without burdens. Visit seabreezevacationvillas.com to register for a complimentary breakfast or lunch preview, or call 602-5617 to find out more today.
Becoming a BTC postpaid customer is fast and easy. And what's more, by signing up, the deals are instant. Tell us about some of the deals available for postpaid customers.
Well, we always have amazing deals available for our postpaid customers. We have up to 75% off any device that we carry, and you can also get up to $300 off of a phone if you're an existing customer. A new customer, you can get a free phone. And that's some of the amazing deals that we have at any of our major stores.
Let's talk again about switching over from prepaid to postpaid.
Okay, when you switch over from prepaid to postpaid with any carrier, you can keep your same number and you can come into a BTC store and your service will not be interrupted at all. Your friends and family won't even know that you made the switch.
And for new customers, what is the process like for them to become postpaid customers?
For a new customer, you just walk into the store, have a government-issued IDs, passport, driver's license, stuff like that. And once you do that, it'll be that simple. You could just visit one of our reps and they'll help you.
And tell us about some of the postpaid packages.
We have packages to suit any lifestyle and any budget. And whether you're homeschool, whether you have working from home, whatever it is, we have something here that will suit your budget.
So what are you waiting for? Visit any of our BTC locations and sign up and become a postpaid customer. It's fast, it's easy, and it's rewarding. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pyfrom. Be well, and be back here next BTC Connection.
Yes, sir. What you saying, bro?
Man, everything cool. Radio waking dead hot. What you doing for lunch?
You catching me here checking out this ZNet Shopping Network site? I looking at this out to sea deal.
Yeah? How do one go?
For $30, you get a $50 coupon. 20% off fish at the stand, plus you get $10 in minutes.
Man, you can't beat that.
Well, out to sea it is. Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com. Select the island of your choice and shop anywhere, anytime.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. It is being dubbed our Garden Farmers Market Fest, and it is slated for Saturday, June 12th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Grand Bahama Community Park at Princess Lawn, Ranfully Circus. Committee Chairperson Judith Dawkins say that it is an avenue to sell produce from the garden and generate revenue, and she and her committee member Joe Darville are encouraging the public support.
Come on down and support our vendors. We're trying to build a economic community in Grand Bahama. You know, we've had recession after recession, and so we're trying to help vendors to sell their wares and for the general public to come out and show support.
This is going to be a celebration inviting all of the people who are farming and producing themselves and who may buy and who produce or who actually make and manufacture products. This is going to be an exciting day on the 12th in order to send a message across the entire archipelagic nation of Bahamas that we could do this in our country.
Corenda Swain of the Grand Bahama Ministry of Tourism Office says that they are pleased to lend their support to this initiative.
Ministry of Tourism, we're always looking for authentic Bahamian experiences for our guests, and we would like to be partners in this initiative, and we will be there supporting as we continue to inspire our Bahamians to provide authentic Bahamian experiences for our guests.
And now it's time for your daily dose of sports with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to sports. It's been a busy weekend in sports, from the baseball field to the basketball courts, but let's start at the track. Terrence Jones took part in the Big 12 Outdoor Track and Field Championships, where the freshman sprinter at Texas Tech ran the 200 meters in a time of 20.36 seconds, setting a new personal best time. With that time, the Bahamas junior national record holder qualified for the NCAA Nationals. Jones will join another Grand Bahamian athlete, Brianne Bethel, from the University of Houston, who qualified for the 200 and 400 earlier this month at the American Outdoor Track and Field Championships in Tampa. The NCAA Division I Men's and Women's Outdoor Track and Field Championships are scheduled for June 9th through the 12th in Eugene, Oregon. From the track now to the court, the WNBA announced that Jonquel Jones has been named Eastern Conference Player of the Month for the month of May. Jones helped Connecticut to a 5-0 start to start the season. The Sun finished the month with a 6-2 record. Jones averaged 20 points to go along with 10 rebounds and 3 assists. And finally in sports, scores from Week 6 of Little League Baseball over at the Mara Baseball Park. In Coach Fish, the Red Sox defeated the Buccaneers 12-6. The Red Sox again took down the Predators 20-9. Over in minor league action, the Bucks got the win over the Lions 9-3. In Major League play, the Predators just edged out the Bucks 8-5. The Buccaneers then bounced back to shut out the Lions 13-0. And in Junior League action, the Hurricanes dominated the Predators. The final score in that game, 14-0. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture congratulates all the participants of its Job Ready program. Resilient youth, re-engineered for re-emergence.
Omega Shepard was in Abaco, and she has that report.
It was shortly after 6 a.m. and calls went out to the local police and fire department here in Marsh Harbor, Abaco.
Now is probably not the time to do it because, as you can see, the winds are really intensifying.
Right behind me is the community that was once known as the Mud. That community is no more. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Hey, what you doing, boy? Don't jump. Don't jump. You all right? Man, I so stressed out. I could use a massage. Oh, no. Don't look at me. I don't do them things. Why don't you check out the ZNS Shopping Network? They may be able to help you with something like that. You think they have something for that? Yeah, man, for sure. For New Day Spa. That's the place where the guys them is rub you down and fill you up. Look, I am buying this coupon for the hot stone massage. Renew Day Spa it is. I'm going. Hey, look here. Wait for me. I rolling with you.
Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com. Select the island of your choice and shop anywhere, anytime.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with ZNS to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
Area Caribbean, the fastest, easiest, and most affordable way to travel the United States. Spins starting at $150 and passengers starting at $120. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Sandra Roll, you are our Facebook friend today. Thank you so much for your support. And that is going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shashina Will-Parkinson. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, the Prime Minister foreshadows a VAT-free holiday. The Junkanoo community secures a multi-million-dollar funding. And the Christian Council accuses the U.S. Embassy of a bullish agenda. Those stories and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, returns.
Boy, you should see this cute little honey of a poodle I dating now, you know.
What, you with another girlfriend? Man, what happened to the last dog you was going out with?
Man, I had to dump her, but she's getting too clingy.
Well, I hope you protecting yourself.
Yeah, you see, I don't let none of them know where I live.
No, man, I don't mean so they don't find you. I mean getting yourself neutered so you don't have a little bunch of spots running all around.
Man, I ain't worry about that. I is man. I know what I doing.
Yeah, famous last words. Well, I guess you ain't hear what happened to Skippy, eh?
What? What happened to Skippy?
Well, let's just say he ain't skipping around no more. He ain't get himself neutered. Now he in the doghouse with a wife and 9 puppies.
Man, I gotta get myself neutered, but you know I like to run free.
Wait, ain't that your old girlfriend Fifi coming behind you?
Keep the stray dog population down in the Bahamas. Make sure your dog has been spayed or neutered. Let's make it Bahamian to be humane.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas Humane Society and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
This portion of the news brought to you by BTC's Dollar Holla Deals.
Good evening, I'm Makush Lopindo. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, leading off the budget debate in the House of Assembly this morning with another pitch to showcase his government's plan for economic recovery following the financial setbacks of twin disasters, Hurricane Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister using his 2-hour contribution to flesh out his administration's 12-month strategy to build back better. Aldovis Munnings has this report from the House of Assembly.
Government driving home the message of preparation for the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. Just one day after it began, Minister of Finance, Prime Minister the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, announced that government will launch a value-added tax holiday in July for Bahamians and residents to purchase much-needed hurricane supplies. This will complement a back-to-school value-added tax holiday set for August.
My message to everyone is that they should use the month of July to get their homes and businesses ready for the hurricane season. Take advantage of the savings and avoid the rush. I remind the House and Bahamian residents that the VAT holidays are only applicable for eligible items purchased inside the country from local wholesalers and retailers. We want people to shop at home so that this money stays at home and benefits the human businesses and, by extension, all of the employees of these commercial enterprises.
Accelerate Bahamas' main goal is economic recovery, and the 2021-2022 budget is designed to cushion the financial peril of the twin catastrophes of Hurricane Dorian and the current COVID-19 pandemic in one budget year. In fact, government projected a deficit level of $1.3 billion. That's roughly 11.3% of gross domestic product this budget cycle, a level the country's never experienced. Already, though, government has spent $160 million on unemployment benefits, food assistance, and other social service initiatives. 19 months of payroll support, now in excess of $118 million, $53 million in loans to support small businesses, and $44 million for the Job Retention Tax Credit Program. Small and medium-sized businesses have grown 58% since 2017, from 24,241 to 38,227 at the end of 2020. And that includes over 4,000 Bahamian vacation home market investors, namely in Exuma, Central Eleuthera, and Bimini, whose total earnings were pegged at more than $14 million just in the month of March this year.
To ensure that more Bahamians take advantage of the increased need for room capacity now and in the future, I am pleased to announce that I have directed the Small Business Development Center to reserve a minimum up to $2 million in funding to provide funding to support Bahamians who wish to enter the Bahamian home rental market. And this new SBDC initiative will have built-in covenants to ensure that successful applicants follow through on preparing these properties for guests and that they will list the properties for short-term rentals. The program, Mr. Speaker, will also include consultancy assistance to help guide applicants on how to list and manage these properties successfully.
Government also stimulating job creation in the upcoming budget year.
To begin reducing the number of unemployed, this administration is making targeted investments to incentivize business owners to hire new employees through the provision of a VAT tax credit. And we anticipate 40 million foregone in revenue to fund the government employment incentive program. We anticipate that the program that I've just spoken about, that is the employment incentive program, will lead to 2,500 jobs being created in the near future.
The Prime Minister concluded that his government will continue to serve the nation in the choices that they make to ensure they provide Bahamians with ownership and opportunity, as well as hope and recovery. Reporting from the House of Assembly, I'm Altaviz Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Of Parliament, His Excellency Reuben Ramming chiding the opposition over its criticism of rising debt in the country, which he says long preceded the Minnis administration. Ramming delivering his budget contribution this morning, declaring that the current state of affairs is inextricably linked to the former administration's mismanagement. He also declared that for the first time, the government will be taking tangible steps to remedy the flooding situation in Pinewood.
And I would invite Doc to come when it's time to break that ground. And I want him to take the kill and show the people his face when they realize that shovels in the ground for the first time in Pinewood. Listen here, Pinewood has always had a deputy prime minister floating around in it. You know, you would have seen him in yellow raincoat, Philip Braid Davis. He hangs out at Mimi's on the main Pinewood Road. Day in, day out, he brought Perry Christie there to visit people in Pinewood, one of our centenarians in Pinewood. But at the end of the day, he has done nothing to Pinewood. But yet we have our Minister of Works in this F&M government who has made this happen and sure it was in the budget.
Meantime, the opposition's point man on finance, Exuma and Ragged Island MP Chester Cooper, fiercely responding to the budget communication, its estimates and accompanying documents as sheer fancy that will stunt the country's growth for decades unless policies are reversed and reversed quickly. Cooper charging that while he is not an alarmist, the 2021-2022 fiscal plan worries him about the future. Case in point, while all budgets, he said, are rooted in hope, there's just too much trafficking in hope on the revenue side.
Believes that it would collect 18.3% of GDP or $2.24 billion this fiscal year after falling woefully short of this year's modest target of $1.76 billion. It believes that this can be accomplished despite granting perhaps an additional $100 million in new concessions. This is simply unbelievable.
Well, House Speaker, the Honourable Halson Moultrie, speaking out on an issue plaguing his constituency, land encroachment. He likened it to what's happening with shantytowns across the country, applauding the government for its efforts to bring order to that disturbing practice. Signing scripture, Moultrie stressed that those who rebel against authority will bring judgment against themselves.
That I fully endorse
the initiative taken by the government, particularly in Abaco, with respect to persons who, first of all, enter the country illegally and then take it upon themselves to disobey the laws of the land. Bahamian citizens are compelled by the Constitution and our laws to obey our laws, and any other visitor, whether they were invited or they came without invitation, is subject to the laws of the land. And as such, I would accept and expect the authorities to intervene in that circumstance in Nassau Village.
Responding to the Speaker's concerns was Deputy Prime Minister and Public Works Minister, the Honourable Desmond Bannister.
Absolutely critical for all of us to appreciate the need for us to obey the regulations that we have for speak of our own safety and for the safety of everybody else. We are going into hurricane season, colleagues, and the Building Regulations Act is absolutely critical for the safety of Bahamians, compliance with it. The staff at the Ministry of Public Works are dedicated to being able to ensure compliance. But we really need the support of the Bahamian people. And so where there are infractions that are observed, it's important for all of us to feel that we have an obligation, a very, very serious obligation, to report it to building control.
While still to come, the Junkanoo community embraces what the proposed fiscal plan has to offer, and the Humane Society out of space. Those stories and more when the National Report continues. And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch live at 5 with Amajon Knowles, followed by the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition at 6:30, and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Aha! The $20 combo, unlimited talk, yo, to every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data, plus unlimited chat. It's a roll over too. Now let me check my people on Facebook and WhatsApp. BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo.
Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price.
BTC, do it again.
You know that feeling you get when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC, a substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Anything you need, we got you covered. Say the word and we'll come through. So if you need coverage for life, choose BAF, they'll get it right. Just go out and do it. It's your life, so just live it. So anything you want, you can get it. It's time to get it right. So we rollin' with BAF for life. BAF for life. And so we going with BAF for life. Yeah. BAF for life. And so we choosing BAF for life. Yeah. BAF for life. And so we rollin' with BAF for life. BAF Choose BAF, they'll get it right. Yes, that's the best choice. BAF, that's BAF for life.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
All 29 of the people whose COVID test results came back positive are from New Providence, 2 of them showing a history of travel within 14 days. 13 males and 16 females make up the group, according to Tuesday's COVID dashboard. Meantime, 49 people are fighting off the illness in hospital, 4 of them in the intensive care unit. The country's death toll at 230, 600 tests were completed on Tuesday, 8 of them repeats, and 5 returning inconclusive results. Well, the Prime Minister revealing details of Junkanoo's $2 million allocation, money he believes will sustain the country's culture.
Already identified land within the Gladstone Road area for the senior Junkanoo groups that will allow them to construct their home base. We would assist them, Mr. Speaker, in developing their home base, but this would allow them, we would design what we call a Junkanoo village, and would allow them to demonstrate their arts and their crafts, attracting tourists who can purchase paraphernalia, dolls, see the evolution of the Saxons, the evolution of the valley, etc.
Well, as you just heard, this year's fiscal plan setting aside money for the Junkanoo community, news its head says has been a long time coming. Cleopatra Murphy spoke with the JCNP chairman on how the government plans to assist with the country's primary means of cultural expression, along with the fate of this year's parade.
Chairman of the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence, Dion Miller, says Prime Minister the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis's pronouncement that some $2 million has been set aside in the 2021-2022 budget for a permanent headquarters for the Junkanoo community is welcomed news. That is set to be supplemented with provisions for Crown land for the major Junkanoo groups to be funded by grants from the established BTC Feeder Trust. After promises by successive governments, Miller is happy to see it happening.
We were overjoyed to see the Prime Minister stand in Parliament and make his pronouncement that Junkanoo would be seeing this assistance. This is a great and excellent first step for the Junkanoo community. This will empower Junkanoo community to have a clean, safe environment for their members, as well as guests, as well as tourists alike to come in, feel safe and secure, and be able to do their craft in a proper facility.
He says this is particularly important as Junkanoo groups try to monetize Junkanoo, adding that Junkanoo shacks are not the most sanitary places.
It would allow groups to set up a proper facility where they can have restrooms, where they could have kitchens, where they could have display centers, etc., etc.
The COVID-19 pandemic put a halt to Junkanoo parades last year, and whether they occur this year remains up in the air due to the raging third wave. Miller says Junkanooers are eager to return to the shack.
Then there's the financing. And so Corporate Bombers has not yet communicated what levels of financial assistance that they could give groups. It takes about $250,000 to put a major group on Bay Street. And as you can imagine, a lot of these businesses are being negatively impacted by COVID, and so the funding might not just be there.
He expects the final decision will come at the end of July. Preparation for parades usually start long in advance, so if a parade is to be held, Miller anticipates it will take a different format to adhere to COVID-19 safety protocols.
But the Junkanoo group start their planning and execution from as early as April in the year, so that time has passed. And so we won't, if given the green light to go ahead, we won't be able to have a traditional Junkanoo parade with those large costumes. So it may be more of a dancing parade, a spirit of Junkanoo kind of thing.
Either way, Miller says Junkanoo groups are eager to get back on Bay to rush once again. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
In other news this evening, the disaster preparedness arm of the Bahamas Red Cross Society is ready to tackle the above-average Atlantic hurricane season. Red Cross officials told our LaDawn Davis about their comprehensive disaster plan at the start of another hurricane season.
We are making sure that we are able to handle anything that comes our way.
Disaster manager for the Bahamas Red Cross, Michael Fountain, assuring Bahamians the organization is ready to not only ride out whatever storm Mother Nature throws our way, but to provide relief to Bahamians in need. Fountain says the nonprofit organization is creating strategic partnerships with key stakeholders and have fully activated its 2021 hurricane preparedness plan.
Start shopping for your supplies immediately. Don't wait. We're also in contact with the islands, going over their hurricane preparedness plans to look at any types of situations that could prevent them from being ready. So we're talking about local disaster plans, creating them, adjusting them. We learned from Hurricane Dorian.
The September 2019 monster storm displaced thousands of Bahamians who in turn depended heavily on the Bahamas Red Cross for living accommodations and food assistance. Acting Director General Lisa Pender says while the Red Cross is still in Dorian response mode, the strong support from international partners has given it the boost needed to meet the high demand.
We purchase items, pack boxes, along with volunteers. Volunteers come and they're very gracious, especially in times of impending storm, so that they can have food boxes prepared. We purchase supplies of water, and we have those ready to be shipped. We're at the tail end now, tapering small home repairs. The last homes that needed to have just minor repairs, maybe sheetrock, maybe some shingle roof. We provided grants for them. We just recently finished our financial cash assistance program, where families who were having a hard time just getting back into a state of normalcy, especially on Grand Bahama and Abaco. People wanted to either stay home or they returned, but jobs weren't always available. They needed to get their homes together.
And while hurricane-torn areas are still rebounding nearly 2 years later, disaster manager Michael Fountain strongly encourages Bahamians to not be caught with their pants down.
I want to make sure that each person in your household has a life vest. Know where your shelters are. Know how to get there. Find an alternative route to get there. If you have to go to a shelter, please dress appropriately. Make sure that you have decent shoes on. And if you're going to park your car, make sure it's not parked near a tree or some power lines, because if you have to get out, we want to make sure that you can get out.
LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, power traditionally a main concern for residents and business owners, but are generator providers equipped to handle the busy hurricane season this year? Amajal Knowles found out.
One of the more important items on that hurricane preparedness list is that most coveted generator. We caught up today with one of the country's leading providers in generators, Machine and Energy, on how sales have been.
Yes, the interest has been peaking now. You have a lot of customers coming in trying to find quotations and whatnot. Obviously, this is the hurricane season, so it tends to get a bit busier. But right now we having inventory coming in for residential and also commercial businesses.
We also spoke with Lightbourne Marine's Assistant General Manager Rachel Lightbourne on how sales have been going at its East Bay Street business.
Generator sales in 2020 were down roughly 40%. However, our sales in 2021 are trending back to the pre-pandemic numbers. So we've definitely seen an uptick in the past couple of months leading up to hurricane season.
Now, an issue several local companies have had to contend with is the supply chain, which essentially has seen the global manufacturing sector grow exponentially, making it rather difficult to supply the demand for both machinery and fuel.
Not really. I mean, once you have a good plan prepared, for the most part, it should soften some of the blows. What we normally do is we normally plan 6-8 months in advance for the hurricane season. So at the point where we came in, we see it. What we do is we make sure we would have enough inventory to go ahead and last us through the season.
Lead times for manufacturers are extended as a result of delays in the global supply chain, which has been affected by the U.S.-China trade war and the COVID-19 pandemic. So what used to take 2 to 3 months to get a shipment now can take 7 months, and inventory is very limited. Well, Hurricane Dorian has taught us a very valuable lesson in power recovery. It's been nearly 2 years, and many areas of Abaco still don't have reliable power. You just cannot do business without power, and with more people working from home and attending virtual learning from home, having a reliable power source, it's never been more important.
Despite the challenges, both companies say they are prepared for the busy season.
The order has been placed, I guess, in January, February of this year. So we should be expecting an inventory in about a week and a half, 2 weeks or so.
Well, we have residential and industrial machines in stock. We have portables that are on the way. And we also have a very good relationship with some of the major Florida distributors. So in the event that there's a model I don't have and somebody needs it on an expedited basis, I can contact them and we can satisfy the customer.
And with all that being said, don't be caught in the dark this hurricane season. For ZNS Network News, I'm Amajal Knowles.
Another case of buyer beware, and if you're looking to save yourself thousands of dollars, it's best you listen up. Police bringing that to the public's attention in the case of fake car sales company websites. You see, apparently fraudsters posing as legitimate car sales reps are chatting with individuals over social media sites like Facebook in hopes of locking them into purchasing a vehicle. Police have found that once an individual messages his or her the desire to purchase a vehicle, the fraudster responds by asking the make, model, and year of the vehicle to be purchased. Let's say it's a 2016 Honda Accord. According to police, the fraudsters would then send the potential buyer images of vehicles fitting the desired description and specifications, along with the price, including shipping cost. Following an agreement on the price, a pro forma invoice is sent via email. The fraudster also passes on wire transfer instructions and the name of the receiver described as a broker for the company. The victim then goes to the bank and wires the specified amount, with the fraudulent company telling the individual that vehicle will arrive within 6 to 8 weeks. But here's the thing. Before the expected arrival date, the fraudulent company sends excuses, be it shipping delays due to COVID-19, wrong wire transfer information, etc., as to why the vehicle hasn't arrived. Authorities realized that only after weeks or months of being turned around, the matter is reported. It's important to note that the social media pages do appear legitimate. For example, abcsales@gmail.com, leaving unsuspecting individuals comfortable to proceed. All things considered, the police are advising the public to take preventative measures by calling the Financial Crimes Investigations Branch to assist them in verifying the legitimacy of a particular online car sales company. Furthermore, internet searches can be done on a potential business before money is actually sent to international countries. Well, the U.S. Embassy's decision to fly the pride flag in support of the LGBTQI+ community, triggering a sharp response from the Christian Council, whose leader, Bishop Delton Fernandez, notes that while the BCC supports the right of every Bahamian to determine individual sexual preference and believes no citizen should be mistreated because of their sexuality, foreign governments or guests in the country should not leverage their influence to promote lifestyles inconsistent with ideologies of the Bahamas. The council adding that the Bahamas is a sovereign democratic nation that determines its own ideals, norms, and law, and that it respects the right of each nation to promote their beliefs in their own countries. That aside, the BCC contends that the U.S. Embassy, in its action, is overreaching in being insensitive to the country regarding the homosexual lifestyle. It maintains the Bahamas believes in the traditional family structure of one man and one woman. Hence, the decision to hoist and fly the pride flag in a country whose moral and Judeo-Christian position is not only evident but prominent is deeply concerning and could easily be perceived offensive to many citizens. The council further reasons that if we allow this to occur without challenging it, it opens the door for the United States and other foreign nations to influence the country's social structure and then our political structure tomorrow by way of diplomatic bullying. The Bahamas Humane Society not in a good position as its Chippenham headquarters has reached full capacity, inundated with a number of strays. Antoinette Smith has more on their appeal for help.
with a record number of animals being surrendered.
We thought last year was bad, but this is really a bumper year.
And pet adoptions at an all-time low, officials at the Bahamas Humane Society have found themselves in a tough spot.
And I guess because of the pandemic and people aren't able to afford, they're not coming as we was hoping. So we need to take time to clear the shelter completely, sanitize and clean. So we're asking the public not to surrender for the month of June.
The temporary halt in surrenders due in part to the almost daily bundles of pets left on the Society's doorstep. It's a small consequence of a much larger problem, an animal baby boom attributed mostly to strays and the low rate of pet owners taking advantage of spay and neutering programs.
Animals suggest indiscriminately just breeding. And remember now, a dog comes into heat and a cat comes into heat every 6 months. So we can imagine if 10 puppies are born, and in 6 months they have 10 puppies. You could imagine the math. And so we're hoping that people will get it.
There are worries, however, that unwanted animals may be abandoned on roadsides or tossed into waterways, falling victim to cruel actions. But Humane Society officials are urging persons to work with them, adding that they will not turn animals away. However, they just need time.
They'll give us time to clear and to make space that we will be able to take them in. If they need food, please contact us and myself or Fiona, and we will do our best to make sure that they have some food to feed the animals in the meantime.
We can also help with a basic dewormer, so that the health issue is not so much of a big problem.
Antoine Smith, ZNS Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
Savor delicious third-generation Cajun Creole recipes with freshly brewed coffee at Lewis & Steen's, the first specialty coffee brand in the Bahamas.
Okay, so this location, if you're familiar with Lewis & Steen's, we're the first specialty coffee brand in the Bahamas. But this location, it really is a culmination of all of our ideas, our experiences, and our family heritage. It's a 3-in-1 concept where it's a specialty market, an all-day eatery, and a specialty coffee house all in one. So every time you come here, you'll find something new. You'll discover something that you didn't see the time before while you're coming to get your favorite coffee or your favorite breakfast item or a quick lunch or a nice dinner for tourists. We're very close to the airport, about 5 minutes away from Linden Pinland International Airport. So it's a great layover spot if you're going to any of the out islands. If this is, the last place that you stop before leaving Nassau, Bahamas, it's a great place to get gifts, a quick lunch, coffee, and just be in a beautiful environment. It's really like when you're here, people always say they feel like they're elsewhere. They feel like they've taken a vacation. So I think for a tourist, when they come here, they'll feel blown away. It's a unique spot for Bahamians and tourists because you get that international flair, but it is a Bahamian business, and we want to highlight that we're growing. This is our second location. We have a waterfront destination. This is now our specialty market, which is Market Orleans, and we're actually opening up an express location collaborating with Rubis Bahamas, and that's opening up on Gladstone Road because we're all about design, beautiful aesthetics, beautiful plants. That's a big part of our brand, is the emotional connection. Community is at the heart of all that we do. And so we just want to continue growing, allowing the customers who are from the Bahamas and abroad to have an experience that is world-class.
To find out more information on how you can enjoy Lewis & Steen's breathtaking ambiance, delicious cuisine, and freshly brewed coffee, visit lewisandsteens.com. I'm Marcia Demerit, and this is Tourism Today.
Everyone's excited about the $8 meal of the day. Every day, it's a different 6-inch sub, plus chips and a 20-ounce drink for just $8. That feels like fresh value. Come in any day of the week for one of your favorite 6-inch subs. Like turkey breast, meatball marinara, sweet onion chicken teriyaki, black forest ham, Italian BMT, oven roasted chicken, and tuna. Then add chips and a 20-ounce drink, and you've got the $8 meal of the day. A great meal at a great price every day of the week. Only at Subway.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you. At the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
You watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
ZNS Shopping Network is the place for deals. Check out the deals Cantor General Store has for you. Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com, select the island of your choice, and shop anywhere, anytime.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
University of the Bahamas student nurses staging a protest in Rawson Square this morning, lamenting that for another year they're unable to graduate, and all because they can't fulfill certain graduation requirements at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Grace Lightbourne says it's frustrating that hundreds of student nurses can't move on with their careers, particularly when many of them are eager to assist the country in the fight against COVID-19 and in the midst of a nursing shortage.
Every week, every month, we see that not only that nurses are lost from the system, but that the government is crying about the nursing shortage. But we have hundreds of nursing students at the School of Nursing at the University of the Bahamas that are waiting to graduate. Personally, me and the ladies behind me, they've been held back for an entire year since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. We were supposed to graduate last year. This is another year come and gone that we could not have graduated. Now they're thinking of pushing us back another year, which is unacceptable. How can you cry about a nursing shortage when you have Bahamian nursing students who are already trained in your system, but you want to import nurses and bring back retired nurses? We are budding bright minds. Put us in the field.
While responding to the nurses, the Public Hospitals Authority this afternoon issued a release acknowledging that given COVID-19 protocols during the period March 2020 to March 2021, students from the University of the West Indies and the University of the Bahamas were unable to access the clinical environment at its institutions. However, on Monday, May 10th, students from the Trained Clinical Nurse Program began a 14-week rotation starting with the Princess Margaret Hospital, and that logistics pertaining to the re-entry of the Bachelor of Science nursing students is expected to be completed shortly. Now, adding to those comments, Health Minister the Honourable Renwood Wells noted in the House of Assembly that of UB's 40 nursing students, 37 have gone through clinical trials at PMH and have been accommodated over the past 18 months. 3 or 4 of them, he said, have missed out on that rotation, an issue he too assures is being addressed.
Mr. Speaker, it was this minister, this administration, that met with the Nursing Council and saw to it that 70 nurses who had not been allowed to take their exam for some 15 months to sit their exam in November of last year, and we made provisions for all of those nurses who passed their exam to be brought into the public service. This administration did that. We are now going to accommodate those student nurses, Mr. Speaker, and we're going to see to it that those nurses would be able to sit their exam this coming November as others were allowed to do so last November. And in addition, Mr. Speaker, in this budget, the government has allocated some $8 million for Family Island clinics.
A tearful day for the Yellow Elder community as students, faculty, and staff of the government high school paid tribute to the life of former student Ken Paul. In a memorial service held just 2 weeks after the student's passing, faculty and loved ones expressed despair at a life they say was taken far too soon. Paul's former teachers reflecting on the teen who they called special, always quiet, and never seen without a soft smile. Members of the clergy on hand to provide words of encouragement. A rose bush, accompanied by a sign, was planted on the school's campus in honor of Kim's memory. The Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise donating $25,000 to the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute today. President Francis Dean says the donation demonstrates the organization's commitment to vocational studies.
Vocational studies being one of the 6 areas of Rotary, through this partnership with BTVI, will offer scholarships to persons wishing to pursue vocational studies at BTVI, increasing not only their job opportunities, but their leadership skills as well.
BTVI President Dr. Robert Robertson is very grateful for the donation that he believes will boost its student complement.
Over the past 5 years, the Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise has been very supportive of BTVI, and that's been very much appreciated. In addition, obviously, thank you for the warm support and contribution today. We're very fortunate to have such good partners at the Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise. We do have government scholarships, which we have to give credit to, but there are some students who have circumstances that don't make them eligible for those scholarships. And in particular, your contribution will assist those students. It'll help them to stream into the full-time programs that they so desperately desire.
As we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Relax, enjoy, savor, unwind, and exhale, knowing we've got you covered every step of the way. Find out why we pride ourselves on being the largest and oldest insurance agency in the Bahamas. Log on to jsjohnson.com for more information and like us on Facebook. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
The $20 combo, unlimited talk, yo, to every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data, plus unlimited chat. It just roll over too. Now let me check my people on Facebook and WhatsApp. BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo. Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price. BTC, do it again.
When you testify in court, you're expected to tell the truth. Same goes for your insurance application form. You have to answer every question truthfully and provide all the information requested, or you could be found guilty of misrepresentation. That means your insurance company could deny your policy or refuse to pay your claim. Your insurance company relies on the information you provide to determine whether to issue you a policy. Leaving out just one piece of information could lead to misrepresentation. So read your application form carefully. If you're unsure about anything, ask your insurance agent or broker before completing and signing your insurance application form. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
ZNS Shopping Network is the place for deals. Check out the deals the Balloon People has in store just for you. Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com, select the island of your choice, and shop anywhere, anytime.
A New Providence trio today formally arraigned on drug charges. Basil Johnson, along with his co-accused Alfredo Poitier and Kevin Dean, appeared in court number 1 before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt on 2 counts: possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply and conspiracy of dangerous drugs with intent to supply. It is alleged that on Sunday, May 30th, while in Farmers Key, Exuma, the accused were found with Indian hemp. All 3 men pleaded not guilty to both charges and were granted bail in the amount of $30,000 with 2 sureties. 42-year-old Johnson is ordered to report to the East Street South Police Station, while 41-year-old Poitier will sign in at the Elizabeth Estates Police Station every Monday and Wednesday on or before 6 p.m. As it relates to 49-year-old Dean, he is to report to the Elizabeth Estates Police Station and ordered to return to court in 2 weeks. Also making a court appearance, the 2 men allegedly behind that $1.6 million drug bust on Cat Island. Brandon Strawn appeared before Chief Magistrate Ferguson Pratt and his co-accused Nathan Hines in court number 8 before Magistrate Andrew Forbes. Both were charged with possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply, importation of dangerous drugs, conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs with intent to supply, and conspiracy to import dangerous drugs. According to authorities, Strawn, a 36-year-old Marsh Harbor resident, attempted to import cocaine into the Bahamas between May 7th and 12th. The drugs weighed in at 161 pounds with an estimated street value of $1.6 million. Strawn, like his co-accused, was granted $30,000 bail with 2 sureties. He must sign in twice a week at the Marsh Harbor Police Station on or before 6 p.m. every Monday and Wednesday. He's expected to return to court number 8 on September 7th at 10 a.m. Experience has taught Abaco residents not to let their guards down. Little wonder why they're preparing themselves and their homes as early as possible in the event of another major storm. But that's the word from North Abaco Administrator Therese Boudelain, who says residents have upped their visits to grocery and hardware stores, stocking up just in case.
most of the homes are in very good state of repair, and that's good news for us, as well as our shelters. Our shelters have received aid from NGOs, so we are happy to see those type of efforts undertaken, and we've been preparing our team to be able to respond to disasters such as a hurricane, with a number of training exercises that have been undertaken. And so we're just going to continue to do what we have to do and hope for the best.
Central Pines homeowner David Knowles already has a plan A and B for this year's hurricane season.
You prepare as best as you can, but you make sure that, you know, as far as insurances or the likes of it, you know, whatever you can do, you know, to truly protect your place, you know, you do the best. But for me, I'm not going through another storm if I could avoid it. You know, I'll make sure the place is protected, but I'm leaving if any storm is bearing down on us, because, you know, the trauma of that still exists.
Pilot error to blame for that helicopter crash that killed American billionaire Chris Klein and 6 others in the Bahamas back on July 4th, 2019. The National Transportation Safety Board concluding that the 2 pilots' decision to take off over waters in dark night conditions with no external visual reference led to spatial disorientation and the subsequent crash off Bay Grand Key. On board the ill-fated aircraft were Klein, the pilots, Klein's 22-year-old daughter, and 3 of her friends, one of them ill. According to officials, Klein was eager to head to a hospital in Florida. A self-made West Virginia coal billionaire, 60-year-old Klein was on his private island in the Abacos to celebrate his July 5th birthday. Well, still on news from Abaco, intelligence led Marsh Harbor police officers yesterday to an isolated area in Bahama Palm Shores where they found a kilo of cocaine. The estimated street value there pegged at $20,000. No arrest was made. Investigations are ongoing. It's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. And Basil, just as you predicted yesterday, we're having a pretty wet Wednesday.
Absolutely, Makisha. It's very wet on the outside of our studios just now, and we have that light rain taking place. A little heavier here at the studios. Temperature at 73 degrees. Relative humidity very rich at 88%. The winds are out of the southeast at 10 miles per hour. Your barometric pressure 1,017.0 millibars. That's 30.05 inches. And the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 81s in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Torquay. Marsh Harbor, Abaco at 79 degrees. 78 in the Berry Islands, Alistair and Bimini, 84. 80 degrees in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 79. 81 in Black Point, Exuma. Kemps Bay, South Andros, 81. Freshwick and Central Andros at 79 degrees. San Salvador and Rum Key at 81 degrees. Also, Alistair and Cat Island reported 81. 80 degrees in Georgetown, Exuma. Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, and Crooked Island, 80 degrees. 80 also now just popped up in Betsy Bay, Magona, and Acklands, Matchetown, and Nago as well. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Telecom, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands tonight, the winds are up 12 to 18 knots, pardon me, out of the southeast. The wave heights building 3 to 6 feet over the ocean with a moderate chop. Low tide tonight at 9:08 in the central and southeastern parts of our country. The winds are going to be southeast 15 to 20 knots with choppy seas at 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. Caution flags remain for the central and southeastern islands tonight. Tomorrow in the northwestern islands, the winds fall off just a tad, remaining southeast at 15 knots, wave height 3 to 5 feet. Low tide 9:45 in the morning. The high tide will take place at 4 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, winds reducing as well. Southeast at 12 to 18 knots, wave height 3 to 6 feet, but we will keep the caution flags for you. And then as we head into Friday in the northwestern central islands, winds southeast at 10 to 15 knots, wave height down 2 to 4 feet. Low tide on Friday will take place at 10:35 in the morning, with your high tide at 4:53 in the afternoon. In the southeast Bahamas, southeasterly winds 12 to 18, and the wave height 3 to 6 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
If you see me on the dance floor, man, and kind on wild. Hey, sculling, moving, raking, scraping, man, to this beat. dipping, dancing all across the floor. Whining, bumping, jerking, Lord, I'm holding my head. Well, listen, you can't blame me. It's this red and spread you see.
And that's going to do it for you. International temperatures brought to you by Roll Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Blame it on a record scratch. Blame it on a record scratch.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes, including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more. With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns now one win away from the second round of the NBA playoffs. Without Anthony Davis in the lineup last night, the Los Angeles Lakers no match for the Suns, losing by 30, 115-85. A slow night for DA, just 8 points and 7 rebounds. Suns lead 3-2. The series now swings back to LA for Game 6 tomorrow. Suns win and they're moving on. If the Lakers win, there will be a winner-take-all Game 7 on Saturday. Jonquil Jones and the Connecticut Sun in the win column last night, as well as in the WNBA. They took down the Las Vegas Aces 74-67 to improve to 7-2. Jonquil had a side-high 23 points to go along with 7 rebounds. The Sun off now until Saturday when they continue their 3-game homestead against New York Liberty.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Stock and save on your favorites this hurricane season at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Aunt Jemima Pancake Mix, 32-ounce size, $3.99. Rainbow Corned Beef, 12-ounce can, $1.99. Chicken Drumsticks, $1.19 per pound. Hillendale Eggs, extra large, 1 dozen, $1.89. Best Value Whole Kernel Corn, 15-ounce can, 85 cents. Super Value Winton open Sundays 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Super Value Cable Beach open Sundays 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
The man in the boat calling round Bahama land. The man in the boat and the crowd is sipping sand. The Bohemian beer, good right over here. If you bow to the Bohemian, raise your signs in the air. The man in the boat calling round Bahama land. The man in the boat and the crowd is sipping sand. 100% Bohemian owned, even foreign guys.
Available at Jimmy's Liquor Store or your favorite restaurant or liquor stores throughout the Bahamas.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, satellite pictures showing lots of the wet stuff across the 700 Islands of Bahamas at mid-level low, which was somewhere in the vicinity of the northern Bahamas yesterday, has now shifted over to central Bahamas, but you can still have those feeders still circulating around that system over the northwest Bahamas. So there will be pockets of heavy showers and thunderstorms throughout the 700 Islands tonight through tomorrow. And we expect these rains to really hang around right into about Saturday or so. Wouldn't be until about Sunday Sunday before you see some good letting up of these rains. Mostly cloudy tonight, couple of showers developing with some late thunderstorms. Low temperature down to about 76 degrees. And tomorrow we're looking at another day, mixed bag of clouds and sunshine, but more clouds than sun. Still a bit on the breezy side with a high temperature reaching 86 degrees. Extended weather forecast, as you can see in our graphic, the wet stuff and the thunderstorm right into Saturday, but come Sunday, we'll see a little letting up on that. Just some isolated stuff, lots of sunshine developing as we head into the early part of next week. Temperature-wise, despite the cloud cover, we're getting up into the upper 80s during the daytime and the upper 70s during the nighttime. Makishla.
Thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team here, thanks for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Vernita Roll is a local vendor at the Pulaski Dock, who, on a daily basis, sells an abundance of fruits and vegetables. Even though her supply may be small, she admits that at times she's unable to get all of her produce sold.
I see you have a lot of peppers